Hey guys, Dungeon Master Drew here. Do you like dungeons? Do you like to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their kinfolk? Well, how about some goofy characters getting into ridiculous situations? If so, come check us out at Roll 420s on the Binge on this channel, where fantasy meets craziness as my friends Bryan, Star, Connor, and Sam try to navigate the world of high fantasy. Be sure to check us out on the bingeonthischannel.com, the Binge on this YouTube channel, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Happy rolling.
Okay, are we on?
You ready?
Right. Yeah.
Get it done, boy.
Hey, hello, ¿qué ¿Qué tal? Hola, and welcome to another episode of your friends' favorite podcast, Caldo de Risa.
Only on the Binge on this channel.
That's right. I'm Danny Archilla.
I'm Bryan TV.
That's his name. And today
We're back.
We're back after a long hiatus.
We've been gone for a minute, brother.
We took a break. We went into hibernation. Anton Tiroliro. We went in like pollos de frío.
Yep, what he said.
Yeah, and
but we're back.
We're ready.
Very happy to be here.
We're ready to take these empanadas back out of the oven and
Nice.
Devour them with our teeth of knowledge. And we've got none other than my lovely parents from Florida.
Well, can I hype it up a little more than that? Can I do a proper introduction?
Do you want to hype it up?
Yeah. So,
Hi, Zach.
ladies and gentlemen, today to the right of us, right over here, we have not one, not two, but two genuine Danny Archilla parents. The real deal. Those two next to us right there, they met eyes one night. They held each other in their arms and they popped this guy out. And so, like, if this is not a beautiful moment to be here, I don't know what is. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado,
My parents.
Danny Archilla's parents.
Yeah.
Hand clap. Clap.
That's
clap. Do we want to preface that this might be a bilingual show, or we may be switching between English and
we could go
Spanish?
Spanglish on this. So for any of our viewers, listeners, or vibrationals, yeah.
So introduce your parents, man. Introduce your parents.
Bueno,
It's like we're having dinner.
Esta es mi mamá. Se llama Alba Agudelo Archila.
Alba Albodelo Archila.
No, all right. Right off the bat, it's Agudelo.
Algodelo?
No,
Agudelo.
Agudelo, right?
Agudelo.
And then to her right is my father, Roberto Niera Archila.
Nice.
I don't know how to pronounce half the words.
Archila Neira.
Archila Niera. Yeah. Neda. Just so we know, what are you guys both four full last names? Your four last names, because everybody has four last names.
Alba, Agudelo, Garibelo, ahora de Archila.
Okay.
Ahora.
Okay.
Desde
ahora.
Desde ahorita.
What is
As
the
for
third?
me, I know more than four. So Roberto Archila Neira, Rivadeneira, Archila Reyes. Archila Neira. I'm sorry. Roberto Archila Neira, Rivadeneira, Cadena Reyes,
now he's
Archila.
lying. Now he's just
No, he's not lying. He says this at least once a week. I can't.
Now he's just spitballing.
Yeah.
That's a big difference between
He called me a liar, but
Hold your mic close to your mouth, Mom.
Well, it's very nice to meet you guys. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
being on our show.
Gracias.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I was telling your parents, los estaba diciendo a
Yeah.
ellos que my mom wouldn't do this. She would never sit down with me and get on the microphone. You want to know why? Because there would be proof about how bad of a person she was. She's not going to put that on paper, But
Yeah.
your parents, they're risking it all.
They're certainly brave and bold, and my parents.
So ask them some questions, man.
I mean, what?
¿De dónde eran? Where exactly in Colombia are you guys from?
Yeah, let's ask that.
Yo soy de Bogotá, Colombia.
yeah, we're both from Bogota.
Very nice. How do they know their Colombian family and friends? Did they know each other before they came here? Did they meet each other here in Florida?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And your dad had an interesting response. What was it exactly? It was that
No me digas. What did you say?
What I said is that several ways of getting to know Colombians here. One of them was like through your school, your Catholic school. A lot of parents from Colombia also put their kids in Catholic school. So my wife made the connections like, oh, you're from Colombia, I'm from Colombia too. Why don't we see each other? Blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, we had a big group. A lot of times also because you form a small group, then they bring all their friends, and before you know it, you're full of Colombians all over the.
Well, that's interesting, really, because it's like my family, my mom doesn't put any merit in religion, and to hear that's how, for the most part, people kind of get to know each other, putting your kids in sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting that the Catholic Church had a big part, in doing that and putting families together.
The
is interesting.
result is my parents and me and you.
Yeah, and me,
Yeah.
including me.
Yeah.
I'll keep asking them questions if you ain't got questions.
I mean,
because I got tons.
yeah,
because
because I hang out with them every day.
You
So
need to rein me in.
I don't
'cause I'm
have
gonna
any-
ask them questions.
I don't hang out with us all
ask
his
him,
entire
yeah.
life.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we just met you, Brian. So I think
You got him on the spot, dog. If I had my parents on the spot, I'd be like,
okay, well, I mean, if I really wanted to put them
I'd be
on the
like, tell me the
spot,
truth about everything.
I feel like
tell me that you almost murdered me as a child and you didn't know what to do.
Well,
and like,
I
tell
got.
me you don't think I'm your kid. Like, give me a reason to feel this way.
I know I'm their
call them
kid.
out on it.
I definitely know I'm their kid. I'm like as goofy as my mom and as confident as
That's
my
a good
dad.
question. Okay, how about
Yeah.
this? Entre ustedes dos, who is more Danny? Who has more? Who does Danny show more?
I think
of?
he has traits of both of us.
Both of you guys?
In some instances, he's more like his mom, like he was saying. In
Who
other
has it more,
instances,
though?
he's
Entre los
got.
dos, who would you say? Who would you say now that you look at him, ya que es hombre? Now that he's a man, and you look at him and you go,
I think
just like your dad.
I feel like a better question is like, what traits do I take from each person? So like,
Yeah, that's probably a better
like
question,
mom,
yeah.
what traits do you think I take from you?
No, better yet, what traits do you think he takes from his dad? Like when you see him, you go, that's something your father does. He cuts the crust off his sandwich, and I hate him.
Right.
and I just don't want to.
I
like,
love
what do you
the crust.
see Danny do? Where you're like, you don't put sugar in your coffee. You put your pants on one leg at a time. Like, que es algo que,
¿Qué Dani hace?
que Danny hace y tú lo ves y dices,
Que también
tu,
hace.
tu padre hace
que también
lo
hace
mismo.
Pierde
Roberto.
todo se le pierde.
De todo?
come on.
You're your old
that
man,
is-
dude.
I'm very
You
similar
just
to
have your
that.
mom's heart, bro. I can see that, bro.
I don't. First of all, I don't lose everything.
I don't
lose
either.
everything.
I don't either.
The keys and the wallet and
No, she hides everything. She puts
Oh, she's
everything.
hiding it.
She puts doesn't hide it. I chose the wrong word. She puts everything on drawers because she doesn't like to see things on the table. And I'm looking
She
for
doesn't
them,
know the
but I
system.
don't want to get scolded. So I keep looking and looking, and
That's like,
finally
I
I
have a very
ask her.
good
I know
system.
she's gonna scold me, and she goes, "Oh, I put it in the drawer." It's like.
So you tricked
I
me.
wish
But
I
you
wish
know
I
what?
knew.
You know what? I do the exact same thing as
Yeah?
well. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Now you guys are on the couch, so there's a lot of similarities.
Except
that
instead
I'm
of
seeing.
like physical objects, I just take whatever my dad suggests to me,
Yeah.
like in real life, and I put that in a mental drawer. And then he asks,
Mm.
where is that thing? And he's like, oh, I stowed it for later.
in the back right of my
But
brain.
but I might not pull it out ever. So.
What about Dad? What do you see in Danny? Because he says, "That's your mom. Your mom does the same thing. Doesn't do her taxes.
No, yeah.
Fights midgets. Like that's your mom. Like
my mom loves
Both
short
of them
people.
have a big heart.
yeah, I knew it, dude. I knew it, bro. You guys got big hearts.
Yeah.
You guys are
it's-
lovers, bro.
It's a condition. I think we're trying to see the doctor about it next week.
Yeah,
So
you're very sensitive. Cuando era niño,
Yeah.
was he very like? He would see like little hurt birds, and he would try and like breathe life into them. Like, was he very sensitive?
Yeah,
and,
he was
like-
very sensitive towards animals.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
I
And
like
he's
that.
very sensitive with people also. He's very...
I'm just
yeah.
kind
He
of
can see-
sensitive in general. I'm
He's
kind of
empathic.
Yeah,
I'm kind
yeah.
of-
He can-
Like
and-
one time,
Yeah.
he saw some people asking for money for gas. I guess they ran out of
Oh
gas,
my
so they
God,
put a
yeah.
sign, saying we need money for gas. So he took one of the credit cards and gave it to them.
Wait, when did it? I don't remember this at all. When did I do this?
That's
He
not why
took
you
one
not
of
on
our
stage
credit cards
talking
and
about
gave it to them.
this.
So they were very happy to
Veníamos
pump
de
gas with that
Risa.
money.
When was this? How old was I?
I don't know, you were probably 14 or 15.
14. Yeah.
In the corner, en la esquina, vimos a una familia que tenían un letrero and they say, we need help. And
Money
that
for
was
gas.
like a
Money for
mother
gas,
and
yeah.
Money for gas, something like that. And Danny asked Daddy, how much do I have left? And he said, you have only like
No.
$20 or something like that.
But he didn't say.
Danny's
I mean,
taking his
I
shirt
didn't
off
know
his
he was
back.
gonna take the
Take my
credit card.
shirt.
Yeah, but
I didn't know
we
he was
said,
gonna
"You
take
don't
that
have-
credit
you
card
don't
to
have
them."
too much. You have like $15 or $20. So we went home and he said, "Oh, I need to take the dog out." I say, "Okay." So after that, he said, "Did you
Well,
just
I
put
think,
gas?" I say, "I'm here."
I
didn't
think a
put any-"
transaction. a transaction.
Gas. So
I see every transaction that is being made. So I saw a transaction, gas, and it'll go, well, why is there a transaction of gas if we are all home, and I haven't pumped gas, so I asked Danny, and he was, oh yeah, I took the credit card and
no, he said he went to this family and he said, here, look, this is my debit card or credit card, I don't know, so he can use it. This is only $15 that you can use it, but there is no more. So take it. So they went and they put $15 or $20, I don't know.
No, they wiped out whatever it was there. They didn't. They didn't.
So
they didn't get a limit. They just.
That's great. What a good son.
Yeah.
I like that. I'd be okay if my kid did that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Danny. Like, it would be different if Danny was like, I bought a 6-pack for him and I gave it to him so they could get messed up, and then I'd be like, motherfucker. But that's very sweet, Danny.
Yeah.
I knew that. Now that I know that
Cuando él
about
estaba
you.
en high school en Dr. Felix en Florida, cogió muchos amigos y amigas allá. And we used to have like a, ¿cómo se decía? El jumping,
Trampoline.
El trampoline.
Yeah.
So I say, Danny, who's coming? He said, no, I have a friend and she has some problems. She wants to talk with me.
Nice.
So I can see Danny in the trampoline sitting with a girl and she was telling all the problems. And next day, oh, Mom, there is some guy that he's coming and he has some problems. So I said, you should be like a
psychologist.
or something like that,
some
because he was
helping people.
everybody.
Wow.
And I remember
Danny, this is on tape, bro. You can
Yeah.
show this to your kids, bro.
I don't remember
This is gonna be so
any
cool.
of this.
This is such a
California,
sweet moment. I fucking love
California
this.
has corrupted me. I remember none of these
corrupted
moments.
you? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
I do not do any of these things anymore.
So here's my next
Actually,
question.
steal-
No, why not? I mean, that's.
Well, that's good.
Here it's different.
No te preocupes, because Danny's a good dude and we have his back this whole time. And I'm glad, again, I'm so glad you told that story, because it just reaffirms to me that it's like, Danny's a good dude. And like, no matter what ends up happening, I'm very glad that I got to meet Danny. But that brings up one thing, man. I got one question, man. And then we can talk about Encanto, I promise. Danny and I have issues with our culture, in the essence that we don't fully feel. And I'm you stop me if I'm putting words in your mouth.
You're putting words in my mouth. What I'm saying is
He's
that
lying.
no. What I'm saying is for me personally.
Yeah.
Why don't you let me speak for me personally? They'll respond to that, and then you speak for you personally.
let Danny
It's a
talk.
little different. It's a little different. Here's the thing: is that like. I'm ethnically ambiguous. Like, if I don't say my last name's Archilla and I don't talk anything about Spanish, like, people just automatically assume I'm from Europe, or I'm, Russian, or I'm straight up like white, or even in one case in Boy Scouts, somebody thought I was Chinese, like that happens all the time, where people just don't ever think that I'm actually Colombian, which is why I make it so much of my identity. But if that's the case, then like, what are ways that I can promote, like, I work in marketing, so apologies.
Is that a question, Danny?
No, I'm saying, what do you guys suggest would be ways I could promote my sense of Colombian heritage without having to say, hey, I'm not white, I'm white passing,
Well, let me answer that.
Yeah.
The best way is to learn more about the culture and mix more with actual Colombian people, actually even maybe planning on spending a month or a couple months there. I mean, that way you'll get to know people and their values and their idiosyncrasies and all their craziness and all that. I know a lot of gringos, they don't need to be Colombians. A lot of gringos that have moved, and in fact, there's a couple that do shows about Medellin and cities like that they just fell in love with, and they just say nothing but great things. I'm not saying that you should go there and bring only great things from there, but that's one way. Just try to immerse
myself, if not in
culture.
Colombia itself, then maybe with like a Colombian community. Because what's so funny?
Well, Colombian community might be more difficult because they might just see you as the gringo. So they might alienate you. But if you go to a Christmas
what's
party
so
or
funny?
something,
You know what's so funny,
not,
Dad? I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off because I'm a man now.
Vederman's losing it.
Zach's freaking out. Sorry.
Like, what in the Jerry Springer is going on?
yeah.
I was going to let you know this. I was going to
I'm
let you.
about to throw chairs here. Right?
What in the Sábado Gigante is going on?
All right, Don Francisco. I was going to say, recently, I actually came across someone at the Glendale Room, a comedy venue over there in Glendale. That's Colombian, and she actually messaged me out of blue. She was like, "Hey, I saw in your set at the last week's open mic that
I couldn't
you
help
mentioned you're
notice your
Colombian."
set was very Colombian.
No, so she reached out to me. She reached out to me on Instagram.
That's
and so
cool.
We should connect with her, maybe have her as a
I'm
guest.
down. That'd be very cool.
That'd be really great. So that's all I'm saying is that, like,
Well, I'll
there-
tell you what I'm saying.
okay, well, now he's the man.
My only question here, right? And I feel like we're talking the same thing, but Danny may not think it is against it. Did Danny ever come to you as a child and like ask, like, why do I not look Colombian? Like, why do I not look brown?
Actually,
Like,
the opposite.
That's my question because for
Actually,
me, that
the
was mine.
opposite. One time, he was in kindergarten, and we were asked to go and speak to their class. I forgot exactly why. And so we started telling the other kids that we were from Colombia and all that. And he actually closed his ears, like, I don't want to be part of this. He actually was going like that. You know, like, I don't want to be part of. And I remember that. It's like, wow, he's negating his culture. But anyway, he was only in kindergarten, so I can understand that.
When I was growing up in my redneck town, we would go and visit them. And I remember always being like, that's cool. Like, this is so cool. Like, those little glimpses of being with other Colombian people. But then we would come back home, and it was just mom and just me and my sister, and it's just white people stuff. And it's very, you know, and so I just, to me, I find that very interesting because I remember questioning my own existence. I remember at one point going, like, why do I look different? Why are people treating me differently?
Yeah.
And so I always wonder if, you know, that's why I asked that question. Did Danny ever come to you, you know? But I don't think so because I think you guys basically kind of look alike for the most
Yeah,
part. Like,
yeah,
there's-
yeah.
I got
you know,
pictures when I was younger that I look exactly
spitting
like him.
image.
Or he looks exactly like me. Let's put it that way.
So it's interesting to hear them be like, well, we was in kindergarten. He was like, I don't want to
You know,
hear about that.
I think I'm just naturally argumentative. So, like, anything that they say, they could tell me the sky is blue, and I'll be like, no, it's green, you know? Like, so I've kind of always had that edge, and I think that was amplified when I was younger.
Well, I think it's cool because it's two
Yeah.
examples. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Podrían haber hecho two different things here. You could have been, you know, if you had lived your guys' life a little more patriotic, let's say, it could have been a completely different Danny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you had, you know, absolved him of all
Yeah.
of Hispanic culture and taken
Yeah.
him away from it and just been like, you know, you're American. Like, you know, it could have been.
Yeah.
It's
you know,
also
different
very
side.
interesting
No, we
'cause-
never try to stress at home that we're Colombian and you should be. No, we basically are just a regular family raising kids and bilingually.
I can't
speak
stop
Spanish
it.
like a Mexican. Yo hablo como mexicano.
A little
porque
bit, yeah.
mi mamá tenía restaurante mexicano.
A little bit, yeah.
You speak to any other Colombian, te lo juro, y me dicen, no eres colombiano, tú eres mexicano, hablas como hablas como
Dude.
puro mexicano,
Oh my God.
como Salvi.
Oh my God.
Como salvadoreño. Because there's a different way to say things. There's different accents and there's a specific way that my aunt speaks that's like Danny's mom.
All the way to like vocabulary as well. I was working at a kitchen one time. I told my parents about this before. I don't know if I told you guys. And I'm working in a kitchen. It's early morning. You know, we're having like our breakfast because every morning the cooks and the chefs like have their breakfast right before they get on making food up for other people. There's some orange juice. I'm looking for a straw. So I'm asking some of the prep cooks, I'm asking them, oye, ¿a dónde está el pitillo? Now, in Spanish, for Colombians, that's straw. But when you say that in Mexican slang, that stands for penis. So they're like,
Asking for a penis.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'll pull one out right now if you want. I'm like, but there's a different word. They gave me a straw and they said it was like, what, popote or whatever?
Popote.
Popote. Yeah, I never knew that. I would have
And
never known
popote,
that.
Called
and
it a
popote
popote.
in
I
Colombia
would've said popote.
means like big shit, you know?
Exactly. So either
Yeah,
way.
so one dude's shitting and the other one's got his dick out. They're both going, wait a minute. What's going on?
I don't know if I did this one yet, but this is actually like a saying my mom says a lot, like a tongue twister. Can you do it?
¿Cuál? ¿El trabalenguas?
No, like
I don't remember.
Trabalenguas.
All right.
Ok. Compadre,
to this.
cómpreme un coco. Compadre, no compro coco porque como poco coco como, poco coco compro.
That's my mom does that.
It's
That's
weird, right?
My
It's
aunt
so
does that. That's so
Translation. Friend, buy me
I've
coconuts.
never
No,
been
I
able
don't
to
buy
do that
coconuts
fast.
because since I don't eat coconuts, I don't need to buy them. But the way
But
she
you have
says
to
it
say
is like
very
coco, coco,
fast.
coco, coco, coco.
El comadre compra cocos de
Compadre,
cocodrilo.
cómprame un coco. Coco.
Compadre, cómprame un coco. Compadre, cómprame un coco que coco de...
It's weird.
De los
It's a tongue
cocaquicanos.
twister. It's a tongue twister. My mom, apparently my mom, when she was about to give birth to me, the day of, she called my dad. She said her water broke. You correct me if I'm wrong, either of you. And she, when my dad got there, she was like, "I'm gonna take a bath."
Oh, yeah. I take long.
It wasn't quite like that.
In the
I was
middle of
already.
your water.
It wasn't quite. It wasn't
Because
quite like
I know-
that.
yo
I
ya
was already
sabía que
home
era.
when she said, "Oh, I think we need to go to the hospital, but I'm gonna take a shower first." And I was ready because you always see these shows and movies and all that. The guy running red lights and all that with his wife. So I was already like, run, run, run. And she goes, "No, I gotta take a shower." It's like,
And after that, let me make
it's like
a
I've been
cheese.
told the
Let
wrong
me
story all this
relax,
time.
let me-
So you delayed Danny's birth because you had to get your
No,
groove
and I
on?
was with the car. Brum, brum, brum.
I was kind of scared because I know what, como es. And I say, okay, let me take a shower, let me relax. And we have to go. I say, no, let me take a shower. And after that, I'm going to make a tea.
Yeah, trying to put it
Oh
off.
yeah, she was gonna make a tea.
Yeah.
Well, you were not supposed to be born in Catalina
At
Island.
all.
We
You weren't supposed to be around.
we had a
kid.
weekend. We had planned a weekend to go to Catalina Island, and instead we ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of your dad being like, "You were a mistake on camera."
I'm waiting for him to say that.
Supposed to
That's
be
a $1 million
here, bro.
phrase. Everybody's
your
thinking
facts
it.
right.
Everybody's
You
thinking
ruined
it.
everything, dude. We were
Get
supposed
your
to be in
facts right.
Catalina,
That's
dude. Trying to catch it on camera, man. Well, I have 1,000 other questions, but I know one of the big topics that we want to talk about while you guys are in town is Encanto. So how do you want to do it? Do you,
All right,
do you
well,
want them to
all
give
right,
me
I'll
reasons
tell
why
you
it was
what,
good?
Let me say something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be honest, because don't say because maybe your
No,
dad's just
no,
been
no,
agreeing
no,
with
no,
your
no,
mom.
my
for
dad,
all
my
you know.
dad
What I
is
wanna
nothing
say
but
is
honest.
that,
He can't be anything but
One
honest.
of the things I like about Encanto is not the movie itself, but the gesture from Disney to look up or to
Research.
and do a movie about a country there. I mean, well,
This is new.
Exactly. I mean, Colombia needs a new image, and the drug cartels did a lot of damage not only to the people there, but also to the image that we have around the world and all that. So I like that. I like being put on the map again. But it doesn't really capture what Colombia is all about. But at the same time, it does certain things like the variety of flowers, the variety of birds, the variety of the beauty of the country. That home that actually exists somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not a fiction. They took pictures of it and say, okay, we're gonna base it on this home and all that. The variety of people. You notice that one guy is completely white, the next guy is completely black, the other one is brown. The variety of people.
Yeah, that's what it's like in
They
Colombia.
capture a
Yeah.
lot of nice things. So even before the movie started, I admire that and I like it, and it brought a lot of pride to people and all that. And everything else, I think it's just the taste. If you didn't like the story or whatever, that's different. Everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah.
But I like it because of those facts.
Yeah.
So when I watch the movie, it's like, well, it wasn't the most interesting, Disney movie. I would
It was
say.
a very simple story when you really
But at
think
the
about
same
it,
time, it was awarded more than I expected. Like
Yeah.
in the Oscars and all that, I was like, oh wow, I was shocked. So it is good. It in other words, I see it as a good marketing for Colombia.
Very cool.
That's the way I see it. Like I said, I don't care too much about the story, although I like the fact that this poor girl was the only one that didn't have any virtues or any magic in her, but yet she ended up being in the one that saved the whole town.
¿Sabes qué? Is that I
kinda
always
like that.
I always feel like her, except I'm never at the part where I save the family.
Well, you will. Don't worry.
Will I? Because Nelson and Andrea will never let me. Like,
no.
They're always going to use their strength.
You're still in the middle of the movie.
Welcome to Encanto,
You're still in
the radio play.
You're still in the middle of the movie.
Sing your Lin-Manuel Miranda song, Danny, so that everybody knows how you feel. Okay, what about you, Ma? ¿Qué te gustó de la película?
El mensaje. No es una. Yo me dormí como 4 veces.
So she fell asleep during the movie 4 times.
She loved it.
And
Can you imagine
Nelson,
if she had hated it?
yeah, and Nelson one time he went with his wife and let's see Encanto. So I think Nelson and me we were sleeping. So I have to put the movie like 5 times to finish because I was like.
Well, you had the
But
Was your mom in Memento?
Pero, yeah, it's kind. I don't know.
She like wakes up and there's a tattoo on her arm. Rewatch Encanto. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get to this.
She does that. She does temporary
I
tattoos.
think I'm getting old, but I like the message, el mensaje, porque lo que dice Robertico. O sea, esta niña no tenía nada interesante de Little Girl, pero al final pudo hacer algo bonito y mucha gente le pasa lo mismo. Dani dice que se identifica. Yo no sabía que te identificabas
Mami, es que
con eso.
Andrea y Nelson, like, they're way more Colombian than I am.
Okay,
like,
yeah, but you know,
Like
it's
they
like
dance,
no.
they say words Colombian.
No, that Nelson doesn't dance.
Lo que yo digo
He
es
could.
que como la película de anoche, we were watching a movie and that's this guy that he's metiendo la pata todo el tiempo, todo lo está haciendo wrong. But, and we didn't finish the movie.
She's
because
talking
you fell asleep.
about the classic Rihanna film Battleship.
Yeah, we were watching a
it
movie
yesterday.
and we didn't finish. But I see this guy and I know at the end because we didn't finish to see the movie. Is going to do something big. So
Yeah.
it's the same. If you feel like that, you're going to do something very big in the world.
Yeah, there will be a
Let me tell
redemption.
you.
There will be a
It's like,
redemption. Yeah.
y es lo que yo vi en la película. Al final la niña pues se sentía como que, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything that the people is, you know, like everybody has a poder or a
Yeah,
power
power.
or something.
But she brought the
And-
family back together.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she did something very big at the end. And
Yeah.
if you feel like that, you're going to do very big
Yeah.
things in your life, believe me.
Okay.
In front of your friends. You're going to be so amazing, Danny. And
sweet.
they're going to see it. So
What are you trying to
that's-
say?
That's what I...
Yeah.
Am I not amazing
they're
right
going to say,
now? What's going on?
"Danny, I know it. So
Yeah, that's why we're plotting to take him down.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, keep talking, fucker.
So es lo que yo vi. Me gustó también que en la película lo que dice Robertico, o sea, they're showing some beautiful things y esos pueblitos, esas ciudades de verdad existen.
Yeah.
Yo algún día quiero ir a es en Barichara, ¿no? En todo
Yeah, I
ese
think
pueblo.
so.
Divino, eso es divino. Yo estuve mirando fotos, it's beautiful, it's colorful, flowers and the people and they show the arepas, empanadas and you know, little
Yeah.
details in the music, Colombian music.
They have Carlos Vivas on the
Carlos
soundtrack.
Vives
That's a
and-
big deal.
It's a big deal. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So I think for us we have to be proud of that. So
Yeah.
You know what I like about the movie, if I'll say this really quickly. I like both the reasons that my parents said in classic Archilla form. I agree with them, of course, you know. Yeah, they did their research. It does good for the country's PR. And it's got a really nice message. That's something that I think a lot of Latin Americans can relate to. Because I don't know if you know this, but mental health is woefully underspoken in communities. Like, I thought these guys didn't get me at all, but they did. It's just I needed to be open enough to talk to them about that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it talks about that. It talks about the struggle between the grandmother and the one kid that doesn't have anything special about her, and how they have no
and
choice
in a way,
but
she's
to
kind of
accept each
ashamed
other.
of her too.
y la grandmother era a little bit of mean. I don't like
No,
that.
but then through the magic of storytelling and golden butterflies, we see that the grandmother like has a reason to like want the magic because it reminds her of her husband who died protecting his family. You know, if he didn't
Correct.
die for that, none of them would be there. That house wouldn't exist at all. So it's like a level of understanding that I think it's not only underrepresented in Latin American countries, it's also underrepresented in like animation. Like, I don't think I've seen something this deep since the Goofy movie.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know about all
That's
that.
a revelation.
Yeah. What are you stuck in a rock?
Man, no, you don't remember that scene?
No,
where
I
they're
know what you're
outside-
talking
they're-
about,
They're
but-
outside Raccoon World.
What,
and
have you
they're-
not seen
with-
Wreck-It
with-
Ralph? Have you not seen
No,
In and Out?
I'm talking about father and son. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about the cigarette lighter with Goofy and Max. That was an important, integral scene in American cinema.
Yeah.
See.
I'm still
Okay.
going to destroy
So we wanna
Encanto.
hear
Are you
your-
guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ready for this?
I want to
Okay.
hear your point of view.
Here's the thing. Number one, if you're going to promote a movie about being from Colombia and the first opening scene of your movie is in a place far, far away with the mystical jungle and the people, and then you're not going to say, at what point in that movie did they say Colombia? Other than in the song, other than in the song, and other than in the one wall,
don't need to
in
say
the
Colombia. They
one
don't need
wall.
to say
No.
the word
Give me,
Colombia.
hold
No, but
on.
he's got a good point.
Give me
He's got a
give
good
me a
point.
second,
He's got a
because
good
you're
point.
attaching this from a
But see, we
PR
were
point
so
of view.
proud of all the
If
issues
you're
that we
coming
pay
at me by
attention to
telling me
that.
that this is a movie specifically designed to show Colombia in a
angry
good
right
light,
now.
because it infuriates me, and I'm gonna crush how good you guys felt about this movie in 5 minutes. I promise
You're
you.
gonna leave us crying?
You guys are gonna go, oh, a magic butterfly. No, mira. How are you gonna start a movie that you produce and advertise as a Colombian movie and start off in the mystical mountains of an unnamed place? The people are getting hunted down, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Number two, don't just throw arepas and fucking random food in one scene. Don't just throw, my mama, she can cure you with arepas that make you dance. And it's like, okay, but what else? Are we just arepas? Are we just fucking like, what are we doing here? Don't just put Colombia on one wall. You know what that is? That means they built a movie with no ethnicity in mind. A South American movie. They went later on in that movie, and they could have changed anything. Imagínate, think about the movie and take the empanadas out and say, my mom could make tacos that were 10 times as good. Take every single food thing out. Have Mexico painted on the wall. Have everything else changed. Those little things, other than the flores and the birds, that was Colombian as fuck. And I was like, I'm down for that. I love that whole thing. Take it all out and replace it with something else. You would have thought that was a Mexican movie. You would have thought that was I promise you, Danny, don't
You
lie to me.
compare that to Coco. You compare that to Coco.
Well,
Coco's already set that
Coco
standard.
stood up and said, we are a Mexican movie. This is a movie about Dia de los Muertos. This is a movie that is specifically based on our culture. Mexican. What did they do with that? There was nothing. Literally, you could have replaced any of that, those little things, the five. I counted maybe 12 things in that movie that were Colombian specific.
Including the
like
flag?
truly Colombian specific. You're talking about the hat. You're talking about the architecture. You're talking about the tiles, the flowers, the birds.
The
And you're talking
clothes.
about
The clothes
you're talking
are
about
Colombian.
take those things out and replace them. Change the color of the flower girl's dress to a Mexican color. Change those colors. Change the whole spectrum. Those little things, and that movie would have been a Mexican movie.
Mexican,
That
you're right.
movie would have been
You're right.
advertised as a completely forced. That wasn't a Colombian movie. That was a movie that was created for Hispanics to go and feel better and go into the movie theater and go, this is about me. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. The whole movie. Don't advertise a movie that says Colombia and then start your movie off by going, in a mystical world with a far away. No, motherfucker, say the truth. The fucking conquistadores showed the fuck up. You sacrificed your husband to make a magic house. And then here's the other thing too. Those villagers are living in fear. They are living in constant fear because of a magic house that super mutants live in. The woman changed the way the river moved. The woman changed they said carry donkeys, and the woman was like, bet you gods, literal gods, and they're just controlling children, and they're just like, and the abuelita is so mad because she's like, I want more gods, and like the little girl's like, well, I'm not a god, I'm a normal person, and abuelita's like, the Encanto's the magical house that makes everything. Nothing.
Okay.
There wasn't a single thing in that
pero,
movie.
like that's all aesthetic. Like what about like the actual dynamic of how
Sucked.
the characters
the whole
treat each
thing
other?
Sucked. The whole story was
okay,
bullshit.
Give me an example.
Here's the
You
thing.
didn't like
don't
We
get
Don't
me.
Talk
Here's
About
the thing.
Bruno? 'Cause
No,
that was very...
no, bullshit, bullshit. Here's the thing. Do not sell me a story. That is not a story. Then what that was therapy. It was a family therapy session for $5 million. Don't give me a story where the main part of the story has already been solved at the beginning. That's not a story. That's a conversation. It's like, hey, I feel like shit. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, good job, fuckface. You felt like shit and the house is better. And guess what? Nothing happened. You're still a god. Your people fear you. And nothing. You can't have a story where you can't, that's not how story structure works. There has to be a point. You can't just go in there and just feel. And no, so that combined. Oh, and thank you. And then the finale, the Deus Ex Machina moment of the whole film, where it's like, how'd the house get built? Your husband died. End of movie. And it's like, what are you talking about? Why, if this was a Colombian movie, why was there not conquistadores? Why wasn't there a team? Why did the village not get together to try and fight a force that came from the outside? That's history. That's like Colombian history. That would have been.
You made good points, but you made my dad so upset he just had to walk out of this
He has to go
conversation.
talk. That's a lie. That's a lie. If anything, he's calling his Colombian buddies and going, I gotta tell you something. That Encanto,
We gotta take Disney
down. Pretty racist. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I didn't like it. You could have replaced every single thing out of that movie. You could have. Even the music wasn't like.
Okay.
Like the
come
music.
On.
There was.
They got Carlos Vivas. They didn't even go with Shakira. Those are the same directors from Zootopia.
You sound like the government when they go, but he's black. Everything's okay because he's black, right? Like, come on, right? Carlos Vivas, he had one song out of 12, right? Like, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
No, but also Dos Orgullitas or whatever, that Caterpillar song, that was also done by
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
That
definitely,
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Definitely Colombian, right? We hired a Colombian.
The singer of that song is Colombian.
What I'm saying is Disney looked at the movie and said, we're hiring a Colombian singer, right? Yeah, we got Lin-Manuel Miranda.
He's the songwriter, not the singer.
Fuck it, throw him in. It sounds Colombian, right? Those idiots will pay for anything. They don't give a fuck as long as Mil Miranda's fucking name is attached to it. Like,
Okay. What about? Okay, I'll agree with you on that. And this is the same problem I had with Narcos, right? This TV show Narcos, because they hired a Brazilian to play Pablo Escobar. And they had to teach him Spanish and everything. So I wasn't crazy. I think
but again, the
Stephanie
representation
Beatriz
of
is
Narcos
good.
is what we were trying to step away from. We don't want
Exactly.
that Narcos
So we're
thing.
stepping away from that.
Don't pitch me a Disney movie that says this is a Colombian movie and then satisfy my Colombianism with 10 things. No, the whole movie better be about fucking Colombia. Colombia better come out of your damn mouth at the very beginning. They should have started that movie off with, in Colombia. In Colombia, in the beautiful land of Colombia. Oh, you gotta speak into the mic, mommy. Like you know, like that.
I agree.
Don't do that to me. And again,
Yeah.
I promise you, Danny,
Key phrases.
if you go back into those scenes and you replace the arepas and you put tacos in there and you change the girl's dress to green and red, no other person would have looked at that and gone Colombian movie. Like nobody. They would have been like,
they should, because there's.
It could have been anything. They could have changed it. They could have changed it to a Salvadorian flag in the background, and people would have been like,
There's built-in knowledge. There's built-in knowledge on how there are different ways.
but
those
not
countries
enough.
Look.
No. I mean, right. But what I'm saying,
Like Peruvians have the hats and they have the llamas.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm the story as a whole didn't satisfy me.
Entonces ahora hagan una película
You're right,
chévere,
Mom.
invéntense algo.
Yeah, I agree.
Váyanse a Colombia, visiten y
That would be kind of
pásenla.
cool. Just
Yeah,
like
take a trip.
take a trip, do some research, write
Meet
a
my
movie
family.
about Colombians for Colombians that's funny.
Maybe you
that's
meet a cousin of mine and you
dangerous.
fall in love.
No.
And then we become really
no, dude.
family.
Like I've dated a Colombian before. I don't think I could do it again.
I just
don't
feel like
know.
she'd be making fun of me all the time.
It's not even.
She'd be like, "That's how you speak
Just
Spanish?"
Colombian parents could be mean sometimes.
esa
Colombian parents
familia
can be mean.
diferente,
Like
no.
I don't want to get into a relationship with a Colombian. You know, I want to introduce the culture to someone that's totally unaware of it. You
Pero
know?
es que esa familia era rara.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, another one of them empanada eating motherfuckers. You mean one of them bitches in a faraway mystic land across the mountain? They open the movie by saying, I can't even, dude. I can't even, bro. That's so ridiculous. Oh, that's so stupid. Even Coco was like, in Mexico, when the people are dead, it's the day of the dead. It's like they even said that. That's why that movie hits so much harder.
Well, that was
That's
made
why
from a different studio as well. That was
le encanta
Pixar.
Coco. She loves it.
You're mad they didn't double down on it.
I think he's
Don't
mad that
half-ass sell me something. If you're going to go, hey, this is a movie about Colombia, then you better damn well make sure the first fucking 5 minutes Colombia shows
think
the
about
fuck
this.
up,
Think about
right?
this though. If they got it so wrong, could you at least be grateful that it was Disney that got it wrong? Because I would not be happy if Sony did this movie.
Yes.
I would not be happy if Fox did this movie. If
Yes.
Illumination from Universal did this
I think
movie.
Pixar did a wonderful job.
No, it wasn't even Pixar. It was just Disney.
Oh, it's Disney?
So that's
Disney
probably
did-
why you didn't like it very
Disney
much.
did,
'Cause
no,
Pixar-
I didn't like it because it was a bad movie with bad story structure.
I
This
disagree.
isn't a matter of, this was just not a good movie. And
But it was
just,
the best movie it could be under the circumstances.
You're talking potatoes, tomatoes. 9/11 was the best terrorist attack we had because it was 9/11.
Jesus,
like
man.
I mean, what else do you want? I mean, I don't
parents
know.
canceled.
Like, look, at the end of the day, right? I think, and it's important for our viewers to hear as we get closer to the end of this special hour-long episode, the movie has cultivated conversation. Aquí estamos
That's
teniendo
the
una
most important
conversación
thing,
entre
yeah.
nosotros,
It's-
and we're
it's a step
asking
in the right
ourselves,
direction,
what's
yeah.
Colombian, what
Yeah.
not Colombian,
What
what
could
is
be
a
more
good, what could be more Colombian,
Yeah.
what can we do ourselves to try and like
Keep the culture
perpetuate
alive.
a better,
for future generations.
and
I
por
agree.
esa razón me encanta la película, porque it was the first time I could sit down with my mom and go, that sucked, right? And we had a conversation about why it wasn't good, and we connected. And so I'll give the movie that. You wanted me to connect with my family to talk shit about how bad the movie
Mission,
was? You did your job, Disney. Good job. But more than that, I could toss it to the side, and it bummed me out because of how excited we were for that movie. I was excited when you told me about it on the show.
I mean,
like
it's
you were like,
still-
El me dijo, there's gonna be a Colombian movie coming out. It's gonna have all of this and this and this, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm not even Colombian, and I'm mad about this movie.
All right,
Like,
final question then. What would you have changed? What, why don't we give my Zach a mic since he's already here? You know,
yeah,
might as
you
well
can-
hang
you
out.
can- we'll
take
close
the
it
last
out
one.
real quick.
Yeah. What do you feel like could be changed about the movie to be better? I'm asking you, and I'm asking Zach.
To change to make it more to what I was
Yeah, because
hoping.
did you see the movie, Zach, or
Yeah,
no?
Vederman had the pleasure of watching it.
Yeah,
with
you actually
me.
watched. You actually showed him.
I watched it like 3 times before.
You watched
I
it 3 times.
Yeah, before I
Vederman
showed it
loved
to
it.
Bryan.
Wow.
I liked
loved
it.
it.
I
That's
thought it was
surprising.
great.
He thought it was great.
Okay.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a
Right,
great
but you
movie.
can probably see where he's coming from, right? So what would you do to improve it, according to Bryan's complaints?
Vederman thinks it was a good movie.
Well, no, I agree with you in that they could have said it was Colombia more. You know, like if you're gonna do a thing, double down, like go hard. You know, but I disagree with you. I thought it was a great movie. It didn't need a villain. That wasn't the story.
I'll murder your family, Vederman. I'll murder your family. I will murder you, and I will send you wandering in the desert for 40
You know
years.
what? We already did that. I'm not going back. Okay?
I will kill you.
I'm not going back.
Why?
But
What?
Miracle
that
was-
was the story. Like Danny said, it was a simple story. It didn't have to be this grand, complex thing. It was about generational trauma that happens in families. That was the point of the story. It was
They
like
spent
it was
$50 million
because-
on a therapy session.
Yeah,
They didn't-
cool.
There wasn't even.
Sometimes that's what films need to be. Films are for the people to help them understand things that they're not thinking about.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the point of art.
I agree.
Art is to make the regular fucking schlubs who aren't thinking about it. That's one of the big
He did
things
sell me on that, yeah.
in people of color communities.
Yeah.
They have a large and hard time talking and addressing generational trauma, going to therapy, talking about their problems, being able to openly and freely
I agree with
communicate
that.
with the
I agree
family
with
and the
that,
people that they
but
think
you know
love
what?
them and trust them. Like there's a whole thing in the gay community where they can't tell the people they love them that that's who they are because they're worried about their reaction and being kicked out from their family
big deal.
and not having a
big
family
deal.
anymore.
You know,
It's
Frozen.
about-
Frozen did this type of thing too, but
Yeah.
between sisters. So it's like, why
That's-
can't Colombia do
That's
their
the
own
whole
thing
like
about
move
it?
of Disney.
Yeah, but it's
They're
not
moving
like, it's
away
not like
from
Frozen
like,
was advertised as a as a Swedish Disney movie, and like the women were Swedish.
They
like,
can't come out and be like, hey, this is for the gays. They can't do that yet. That's a little too progressive for the. It's like Marty McFly. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but your kids are gonna love it.
Cuando
you know?
uno hace una historia, when there is a story, there is a bad guy, and I'm not saying that the internal conflicts que estaba pasando con la familia, that was happening with the family, that wasn't a good story. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is from a movie point of view, from a guy who watches movies and enjoys movies and expects a little bit more from this movie, I don't think it would have been as hard to just make a magic leopard that was hunting down people. They gave us a magic butterfly. They didn't, no nos dieron razón porque pasó lo que pasó, other than the sacrifice of the dad. Porque the way that movie went, the way esa película fue, I thought she killed her husband. Yo pensé que ella dejó al pinche, I thought she left him there and lo sacrifició. And she was like, por favor, Simón, llévame mi pinche husband and give me my magic babies in my house. Así es como terminó la película. That's how I felt it happen. And she was like, porque what was he gonna do? Do you remember that part? ¿Te acuerdas de esa parte de la película? You remember that part of the movie when he como sale para decir, stop, stop, horses. No,
Yeah, it's a little Jurassic
she knew what the
Park,
fuck
I
she was
agree.
doing. He said, voy a tratar de pararlos. And she said, okay, go, because with your life in a faraway land, your blood will create a candle that will make my children powerful. It was chaotic, and it could have been so easy for los conquistadores que estaban tratando de buscarlos que regresaran. It would have been so easy for the conquistadores to show up again and be like, I want that power. And on top of the story of family relationships, they still have to band together and defeat the bigger evil. But you can't just be like, you can't just be like, oh, my abuelita, she's so mean. She doesn't love me.
Brian,
She's a bad.
Like, here's the thing, though. I believe that you're right. In an earlier version of the script, that was a key part of the thing, was they were more important than they became in what came out. But that wasn't the part of the story they were trying to tell. They decided they were cutting that out because it's not part of the important story.
$50 million telenovela is what it was. $50 million ugly Betty is what that shit was.
But you're telling me there are motherfuckers who don't like that?
Eres demasiado fea, Betty. No tienes poderes, Betty. No eres normal como nosotros. Like, I didn't like it. Was okay.
Pero espérate. Hay mucha gente que se siente así.
There's a lot of people that feel like that.
Y lo he visto alrededor de mi familia, amigos, amigas.
So I'm not the only one. No soy el único.
Like it's got mixed reviews from Colombia for sure.
Good, thank God.
Sí, sí, tú tienes razón, pero el drama de la película pasa, eso pasa. Hay mucha gente que se siente. Cuando yo era pequeña, yo
The
también.
drama
Yo
is
estaba,
relatable. That happens
I was
in real
in
life.
school in I think second grade, something like that, and I was feeling that I didn't do things right, and I was very little. So, yo creo que o sea, yo me identifiqué un poquito y sé que mucha gente se identificó, y con el pasar del tiempo tú vas mejor, como que coges la fuerza y mejoras y eso. Entonces yo creo que mucha gente, es como una terapia de 15 millones, sí, yo sé, pero sirve.
Of course
It's so silly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it needed to exist. I agree with her, because it's just like people have these traumas, and sometimes those are more important than like clear villains and clear
100%.
monsters.
I'm with you. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that part of the story wasn't
like
important.
there was danger. People almost died when that house broke apart. You know, like
the magic house that like, God forbid something exciting happened in the movie. Like I'm not disputing
the candle
that.
was about to fall. That
But
was really exciting.
It would have been very easy
You ever touch hot wax?
to make Bruno into a bad person. It would have been very easy to make something
it would
happen.
have been very easy.
Internally.
That's
Exactly.
the problem with that idea.
No.
I have family members in my own family where I'm not going to say names, but
mom.
No, not even her.
I mean-
My mom's the same. She loves everybody, and everybody loves her. But there are some people that don't feel like that about every family member, and those family members need the most attention, the most love, and the most support.
The
because
black sheep,
by
man.
by being misunderstood, that only creates further a greater shadow of evil. But it's not really evil. It's just like working against the plans of the family. So the
that
more
and
you
the
understand
divide.
them, the
Yeah.
more you can have them work for the family, you know? Because then they'll feel like they're contributing. You know, Bruno's cool. He tells the
He
future.
didn't leave. He liked his family too damn
He was
much.
sticking around.
I know Bruno didn't leave. What I'm saying is, from a writing point of view, if Bruno had left to go to a big bad, and there was still the main story, right? You're still talking with grandma. You're still arguing with grandma. Grandma doesn't love me. Fine, whatever. But that big bad on top of it, that forces the family. Because here's the thing, right?
To come together in the end and
The
defeat
only-
the
but-
big
but-
bad.
but what is
the same story we've heard a million times.
No.
But what is
that's
the only
not what we're
difference?
trying
What
to-
is the difference between
I
that
like that
and
they
this,
hugged
though?
it out.
Because
I
what
like
was
that they
that's not
hugged
the
it
story
out.
they're trying to tell.
what
You're
was-
trying to tell a different story than the story
What was
they
the
were trying to
difference
tell.
of the magic house blowing up, the mountain cracking open, and then her walking away?
Because all right, her walking away was.
It doesn't elicit any reactions to me when I go
You're saying you can't
you,
relate to any
you.
of those characters at all.
to the magic woman who split the river in half and carried donkeys.
I'm not talking about the magic woman.
you relate to
I
her
relate
for sure, my
real
dude.
good to that.
I know that's what you
But
look
think
for
about
in a woman, but
okay.
come on.
They all have to deal with separate
No,
pressure.
I'm the
okay?
big dog. I'm the house. Nobody questions me. I know my place in the universe, dog. I'm never
He says I'm
concerned.
the house.
I'm never concerned
but when
about
you're at your
anyone
lower
else.
point.
Like,
Bro, you're
I
one of
I
the
relate
dads
to
who has
Bruno.
no powers.
Okay, so you're-
maybe. I
okay.
don't know.
All right, so
I
that's
relate
cool.
to the dad.
Yeah,
I relate to the
you're
dad.
the fucking dad who keeps getting stung
I'm
by
the dad
bees,
who's
fool.
banging out some magic bitch, and like now she makes me arepas that give me a hard on for 12 hours. Like what am I supposed to? I relate
sounds
to
like
the
a damn
fat
good
little
arepa.
black guy who was dancing with the magic weather woman. Like those are the characters I relate with, because those people are just living their fucking lives. Like they're not doing anything else. The
Technically,
solution,
they're
the
in-laws.
solution
They're
of the
not
movie
even, like,
happens halfway through the movie. The mother addresses it. The mother literally goes, "Hey, stop thinking about this. Like, we all love you, all of this." So what happens at the end of the movie? Abuelita sits down and goes, "Oh, mija, I just feel so bad about that. And you're just,
Well, in
and
the
I
end,
love you so
that's
much."
because she's supposed to be the matriarch of the family. She's the one that
She
everyone's
should have
approval
died.
comes from.
Jeez,
That would've been-
Brian.
She should have
Hey,
died at the end.
I agree with
and
you
the-
that
and
that
the
would have been a way
mantle
more compelling
should have been
story.
passed over
Onto her, because that's
That
what
house
they're
should have
implying.
never been
Mothers
remade.
are
that's what
always
they're implying
dying in
anyways.
movies.
They're
For once
implying
we
that,
have a father dying in a
the
Disney
main
movie.
character, I forget her
What
name.
dad dies in?
Mirabelle.
Mirabelle.
Yeah.
They're implying that she
And you
will
can't
take over the
consider him a
grandmother's
character when he
position.
dies in the first 2 minutes.
But because he
does nothing.
He dies.
He sacrifices himself for the magic house.
Bruh,
Then he didn't even know it was gonna happen.
Bro, what if he is the magic? What if he's the candle? What
Of
if he's
course,
the
that's
house?
what it is.
Whoa,
Numbskull,
whoa.
La Brujeria. She sacrificed this fool, dog.
It's
I'm
Monster
with you.
House.
She
It's
put the
Monster
nigga's soul
House.
in a calendar. She put it in the candle. And she said, "Dios mío poderoso, give my children the power to destroy these people." Like, okay, here's my rewrite. The abuelita goes crazy with fucking power.
I like it.
and goes through the mountains to kill the fucking people who that's a movie, dog.
That no longer
That's
becomes
a
a
movie.
Disney film,
and then
though.
she goes to
That's a
Bruno, and Bruno tells her that she needs to stop.
fucking
And
rewrite.
then she goes to me, la abuelita. No, abuelita, no hagas eso. Like the power of the house is in love and the unity. And then it's like over. And like abuelita dies the same way her husband dies, to give the second generation a chance, to keep the life in the candle going.
But that's
Build me a movie.
that's no longer a Disney movie.
Sounds a
that
lot more-
becomes like a Miramax
Don't
film.
split a
That's
movie.
a
Don't-
PG-13.
I
Don't
agree with you.
split
It
them
sounds
out in half.
less like
Disney.
Encanto, more like Rambolita, you know?
More like an actual story
All
is
right.
what it is.
Okay.
More like an actual,
Easy does it.
more like an actual 1, 2, 3. Dumb. All right, we're here at the end of our
broke
show.
a sweat.
We're
You broke
here
a sweat.
finally.
Brujeria, that's a breaking point right there.
Brujeria. She said, Dios poderoso, todopoderoso, save my
But you didn't
children,
like the
take my
songs. What about the
husband.
songs? The songs were
There was
nice.
one song que me encantó.
Dos
La de la
orgullitos.
niñita de los flores. When they sing the flower song and they're talking about the flowers, los flores of paradise, and they're listing off all of the Colombian flowers and
Wait, the flower song?
I love the flower
That was
song.
the worst one.
I love the flower song.
That
I thought
girl
it
was an asshole.
I thought it was really good. You know what I hated? I hated the La Musculoso.
Luisa.
I hated that
You-
music song. I hated. Me encantó el primero. The first one I kind of liked, where it was like everybody on there. Like I like that. That was nice. The Bruno song was, whatever. I'm not. Okay. Hold on. The conversation isn't here. Que la música no era buena. My issues with the movie isn't song related.
But it's a Disney movie, so therefore it has songs that push the
but I
story.
mean,
Do you think the songs advance the story?
No! You know what the song does? The song is literally just going, this is what's happening in this scene. Like, this is what we're doing. It didn't further
That's
the
what
plot.
happens in a musical. What happens in
I
a
hate
musical?
musicals.
I know you do. I know you do. And that's why you can't get your head around it. Whenever they cannot express what they need to express in words, they do it in song.
Fucking ridiculous.
Musicals.
And then Bruno. And it's just, look, okay. As we close this episode, I just want to say, I think Encanto was okay. Would I rewatch it? No. Would I show my friends it? Probably not. Yeah, because it's all that. So, well, let's close it out, man. What do you got to say on your end?
No, I mean just we're going to go back to recording on a regular
Yes.
weekly basis.
We're getting back to it.
So this is, I guess, what you could call season 2.
I guess if you want to call
Yeah.
that season 2.
Season 2.
We did season 2.
And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to like speak softly and carry a big stick, so you can follow me on Archilla. I think this will be a nice summer that I will encantar.
Where's the trombone? Can you put the sad trombone song over it? ¿Qué piensas? ¿Te gustó? ¿Qué hicimos? What are your final thoughts?
muchas
¿Qué son los
gracias.
últimos?
¿Estás orgulloso de mí, mamá?
Estoy muy orgullosa de Dani.
Very
Y
proud of him.
Gracias a ustedes por ser.
Of course.
Dani,
She's saying
ustedes,
thanks for
and
being Danny's
Por
friend.
favor, cuídenlo.
Take care of him? Of course.
Yeah.
Take care of him. please.
Always. Danny's a
He's a
very,
very good boy. We are so proud of him.
very special.
He's working very hard to follow his dreams
Good.
in California.
Good.
So I pray every day for him.
Yeah.
And,
Well, we're here.
and now for you guys.
We made it. We made the list.
You're welcome to go to Orlando.
We should make an
Wow, you
Orlando
got the
trip.
Orlando
We should
invite.
make
That
an
doesn't
Orlando trip.
happen every time.
Mi casa es tu casa.
We did it. Let's watch Encanto together. Let's watch Encanto.
Yeah.
And like I told Danny, he needs to continue to follow his dreams, and he's doing very well. We're very proud, and he's doing very...
Y ahora tienen
Estamos
algo
muy
aquí
orgullosos.
para verlo. Ahora now tienen algo para ir en el YouTube y,
Oh, yeah.
y mostrarlos.
Yeah, I was
We
just gonna
love
show
you,
this to
Dani.
everybody in my
Pues
family.
muchas
so
gracias
much.
por estar
Yeah.
aquí con
Gracias.
nosotros. Do you have a show you want to plug? When's your next? ¿Cuándo es la próxima? When's your next?
No,
sé.
I mean,
Yeah, ¿cuándo sale tu
my
libro?
dad-
When's your book? When is
my
that?
dad would probably plug his company.
Plug it.
Yeah. Well, he can't plug it right now.
You don't know your old man's company?
I know it. It's
Xvideos.com. That's right. Pornhub.com.
No, just
Danny Archilla Sr.
Just look up. His name is Roberto Archilla, and he does engineering. So if you need a building that needs to be built,
Like the Encanto house?
sure, yeah, exactly. He could probably. He could make that in a year for sure.
Magical?
He's your structural engineer. He's your SE. He's based in Florida. He's trying to expand his operations. So
Very cool.
that's for you,
Yeah, that's a
Dad.
very nice
I'd like to
company.
thank Zach Vederman and Will Martinez
There we
for
go.
helping us out today. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Archilla for being here. Muchas gracias por estar aquí.
Con gusto.
Very orgulloso, as they would say. But Danny, we're back at it again, brother. Good job, big dog. As always, guys, you can
what's
find
our
us
saying?
at... I will close it out. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
As always, you guys can find us at bingeonthischannel.com. You can make sure that you check us out on YouTube by simply searching Binge on This Channel. And don't forget the rest of the amazing shows that we have available for you guys, this, that, and the other. Happy News with Perry Kurtz, Roll 420s. All those bad boys are coming back. We're getting back into the swing of things. We know we've been saying that a lot, but we promise you.
Summertime, baby.
We're coming back at it. Summer's a big, strong moment. As always, I'd like to thank Danny Archilla for having me on his show, Caldo Risa. And as we always say at the end of our shows, si no le gustan
la taza.
Si no
¿No te gusta?
No, la taza se toma la taza.
You know, we should do the cómprame un coco poco.
Cómprame un coco. Yeah, let's close with that one. Here we go.
Okay.
You join in. You join in, Zach.
Compadre, cómprame un coco.
Compadre, cómprame un coco.
Compadre, no compro coco.
Compadre, no compro coco.
Porque como poco coco como.
Porque poco no coco como
Porque
coco.
como poco como.
Porque como poco coco como, poco coco compro.
Porque poco coco.
And they say they speak Spanish.
O el que no le gusta el caldo, se
Al
le
que no
da.
le gusta el caldo, se le
Se le dan dos tazas.
Yeah.
Okay. Al que. She did it. She did it.